Well, happy Thursday. I just got back from my trip across town to DaVita. And you will never believe. Oh man. I don't even know what to say. So, remember last month, I had to take my collection in, and the visiting nurse was there and she didn't change the date. So I had to do it all over again, remember? The second time I saw Deb, and I believe it was Christmas Eve. No. It was the day before Christmas Eve. So it was like the 23rd. So a couple of things. First of all, it's kind of a drag to do a collection because the bags are heavy and I have to carry them down the steps, and I'm trying to be discreet and go by my neighbors, and it's just kind of chaos, but it's not the worst thing. However, what happens though is when it gets to DaVita and they pull some of the liquid out and they do this whole procedure thing, they have to put them in like vial things. And then they set them aside for FedEx to come get them, and FedEx takes them off, right? Now, a couple years ago, we had an issue because I think FedEx went on strike or something happened where they were not taking any pickups from DaVita, or maybe their contract was overdue. I don't know. Something happened, and I remember having to do a collection again because FedEx never took it. But apparently everything was great now, except that I guess you're not supposed to do a collection on the 23rd of December because by the time it gets to Florida on the 24th, it's not going to be processed in time for when the holiday closes the labs. Or there's something like that. In my head, I'm thinking in your medical calendar, it should be there notated whenever that happens for holiday. And the reason I say that and why I think that's possible is because Vantage, who is Baxter, who is my supply order people, do the same thing. So they will not deliver on holidays, and they do not deliver close to the holiday day. Unless maybe it's an emergency or something, but they're not going to come here Christmas Eve. They just know in our calculated system that they won't be doing a delivery then. Which should be the same for DaVita, because it should be there where they can't even process a collection appointment on that day, is how I think it should work. I am not an IT person, but I know that IT people are smart enough to figure that out. Oh, talk about frustration, because now nobody picked up my lab work. And so I have to do, guess what? My collection again. Only I don't know when. So apparently an emergency happened. Deb is out of working for a little bit. From what I understand, she's okay. But, who knows what's going on. But she had to take some time. So I saw Beth this morning, and Beth told me that Deborah would be in contact with me in the next couple of weeks about when to reschedule my next collection. Maybe third time's a charm. I don't know. It just bums me out, though, because I really wanted to see my numbers when it comes to my adequacy and how my dialysis is doing, because previously I was misinformed on how to do my dialysis after I went into the hospital and came back out and all of that jazz. So now I finally had a month where I was doing it the same way I've always been doing it for the last 4 years. And I wanted to see. I wanted to see that the number was better and like really great standing. And now I have no number because that delivery was never done. And I don't know when my next one will be. So it's probably a couple weeks from now. I don't know. So that's a little frustrating. My blood pressure was pretty high when I went to DaVita again, which is weird, but very common for me. I don't know what the deal is. Apparently there's this thing where, like, if you see lab codes, like doctor codes, you get kind of like your blood pressure rises, which could be true because I am adopted. And when I came to this country, I had to go through a lot of medical things to get checked out, but then also shots and all that stuff. And so I think maybe that's just kind of stuck in my head. So whenever I go to DaVita, or any doctor appointment, my blood pressure tends to be a little bit higher. But I think that's also because I just get excited. You know, I'm like, I'm here, let's do this, you know. I don't know. Maybe it's just part of my personality, because at home, my blood pressure is pretty average. I mean, sometimes it's really low, but I don't know. So at this point, I guess I just have to wait to see when Deborah gives me another appointment for my next collection, and hopefully this time will be the last time for a while. Other than that, things with dialysis is good. I tell you, I'm chilly. Today is actually, when the sun comes out, it feels nice. Like, I ran Smokey out before I went to do my exchange right now, just because the sun was out and it was nice to take him for a little bit of a walk. Yesterday, he just went down the stairs. There's a lot of plants and stuff around our staircase, so he just peed real fast and then shot right back up the steps because he's like, I don't want to be out there in the rain. It was just rainy all day. I was gifted tickets to go see The Doors. I've never seen The Doors. I'm not actually a fan of The Doors. I've never seen them. Well, I don't know. I guess they're like a 60s band, so I don't really know much about them. And then once they started playing, I could recognize some of the songs. So, you know, there's that. But my good friend Zenora was playing, so they opened and they did a phenomenal job. So I was so happy to go down there, and I was gifted the tickets, so we didn't have to pay anything, but it was cool to go down there, see Zenora open. Then we stayed for quite a few songs of The Doors, and then we went ahead and left because it was a Wednesday night and we just wanted to get home, and it was rainy. So I told you guys before that I had dyed my hair purple. You can see some of it in this lighting. And I used the brand Splat, which is seriously a great name for it because the dye drips. It's very stainy, gets everywhere. So I dyed it, I think maybe a week ago at least. And how I do it is I dye it and I let it sit in my hair for like a good hour, and then I rinse it out pretty good. I used pretty cold water, not necessarily freezing water because it's winter. In the summer it's great, but in the winter it's a little bit like freezing. So I just kind of rinse it out as well as I can, put some conditioner in it that stays in it, and then just kind of leave it there for a couple days, and then I'll go ahead and take a shower and let the rest of the dye kind of come out. So it's kind of like the dye is still kind of in there, thickly in there, which is part of the reason why it'll bleed everywhere. But I did not anticipate that it would bleed so much everywhere. And so, anyways, but last night we went to downtown to see The Doors, and oh my gosh, it was raining all day yesterday. So I put my hair up in like a pretty high ponytail. I felt like a cheerleader. And then I kind of wrapped it around, and I put a knit black knit hat, like a stocking hat, I guess. I think that's what you call it, like what your grandma crochets you. Only this was just manufactured, and it said what is a groupie on it, so you know it's perfect. I wore that. I wore my dark scarf because I was so cold. I had like 3 layers on. I had my jacket on, and then I actually have a little raincoat, and I put that on top so that my hair was totally covered by the cap, and then my raincoat hood was up, because I was like, I could bleed purple on everybody if I, like, and then sitting like in the, sitting in the car, like I don't want to get the seats all purple. Oh, the things we do for vanity. So anyways, I was successful. My hair did not get wet. It was kind of sprinkly when we showed up. So when we waited in line, that was kind of like a little nerve-wracking. But once we got in there, and then when we left, it wasn't raining at all. So that was nice. We ran in and out after that, and it wasn't raining. And so then once we got home, it was pretty chilly. It was like 40, I think. And then this morning, I took a shower and got a lot more of the purple dye out. I mean, it's weird though, because you want the purple to stay in there, but then it also, I don't know, it needs to come out too, because it's like staining. But I think I'm pretty successful at this point. I think it won't be dripping anymore anywhere. I think I'll be okay. But I raced down the stairs because I was like running a little bit late. Plus traffic getting to DeVita at 7:30 in the morning is chaos. Downtown's always busy, but it's faster than going down Speedway. So I was about 10 minutes late, which is pretty average, give or take, because that's just how traffic goes. Even if I leave early, it'll just end up still being the same. But I didn't wear a hat. So I raced down to the car, and then when I got out at DeVita, it was raining, so I raced into the coverage area, and so far, I think I'm okay. I don't think my hair's going to drip anymore, but I don't know. I'll see how the hair dye actually stays on and how long it stays on, because, if I can learn how to manipulate it enough to be okay, and again, in the summer, I think it'll be different because like it's chilly to try to wash your hair in cold water right now. So in the summer it's going to be delightful. But it might be the hair dye I use in the summer, and then in the winter I need to find something else. I don't know. But that's my dilemma. Otherwise, when I got home right now, it was nice and sunny, like almost warm. And so I took Smokey out and he went potty. And then right now I noticed that the clouds are coming and it's just going to rain again today. So I'm thankful that I did not procrastinate and I took poor Smokey outside so he could go potty. And now I'm doing my exchange, and I think I'm going to get me some tea, which is my thing lately. I've just been loving my tea. And then sit under my electric blanket and just get warm again, because my head is nice and warm-ish because I'm just kind of naturally, I don't know, I've always had my hair kind of up, and so I feel like I'm not really cold for my head because my hair is still a little damp. But once I do this exchange and my core system gets cooled, because that's cold, then it's like, I'm so cold. So anyways, that's my stuff for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.